Well, I'm gonna try to more or less remember the Night Stalker. Many years ago, my uncle Jojo, he was always, kicking back in the projects, the Ramona Garden projects, and he was always, he's always been a person of interest. He's a smart guy. He did his shit in life, He ran the projects with juice bottles and stuff like that. So he used to do the frios and all that shit. He used to be a pachuco, like a suitor con sus, sus French coats, sus Imperials, sus Stacy Adams, dressing up to impress con sus vests and, his white Stanford shirts and taking his ropa to the cleaners and everything. He used to tell me a lot of stories. For example, and the Hazard Bridge that leads to Cerviteras, all the fights, how they used to go in there in the middle of the bridge and with cadenas and fucking brass knuckles and everything, troputazos, chingazos and everything. That's the only thing that divides like Rockwood, Vickystown, Michigan, and the projects. And a lot of people from the projects, obviously they use the bridge to go to work and do the walk, because the projects doesn't really have a lot of access to everywhere. It's like an isolated area. A lot of people are scared of the projects because ghetto people live there, gente humilde, gente de, on welfare, Section 8 and all that, and gangs are they're infested, in there. And the projects, Jojo used to say that the Night Stalker used to be roaming around East LA, and actually he killed about 13 women, and he violated and harassed, groped the women, because they Contra's more. Well, Jojo says that one of the homeboys and them, they got in a putazos, chingazos, obviously my Tia Juan, and he used to tell me that they were gonna take one of the homeboys to the general hospital, and because he got stabbed, and he got stabbed and chingadazos, you know what I mean? So when he was going over there, he seen a ranfla, a car, that in particular was kind of mysterious, and one of the women that was coming out of the general hospital, she came out up on Marengo and Soto, if everybody knows where Marengo Soto's at, which is General Hospital, the old General Hospital, all creepy and crazy, and she was obviously gonna walk to the projects because she lived in the projects, and she was walking at 1-2 o'clock in the morning, and that's when the Night Stalker used to creep up and kidnap you and fucking maybe he raped you and he groped you and then he killed you, and he was known for that. And Uncle Jojo and them, they because Berta and Aide and everybody used to be young, my mom, and they're always on the alert, like all the homeboys, all the barrios, they were they were determined to catch the Night Stalker, so they'll roam around the city keeping an eye through child, you know what I mean? And eventually that night, like I said, that nurse, she got off work and she started walking to the projects. And you gotta understand, back then it wasn't like now. There's not a lot of lights and there wasn't a lot of convenience that we have now, you know what I mean? Now we have Lyft and back then it was taxi or bus or walk home. This is in 1984, you know what I mean? Not talking about a week ago, So Jojo and them, they seen that he tried fucking picking up on the Jaina. And in the projects we have rules. We don't fucking steal from people that like women. We don't drive by. We don't fuck around people when they're with the jefecitas, or we respect women. Our cultura, our respect. We have a highly way up there, you know. Respeto to us, es nuestra cultura. And a gangster, before being a gangster, they have the flecha, and they have the rules, how to behave and how to conduct themselves, you know. And you violate those rules, you fucked up. So we don't believe in like raping, and we don't believe in robbing or taking advantage of people. That's why we hit up people like, well, you promise, you know. And if you're a chavala, you're not gonna claim a barrio. And if you denounce your barrio, and we end up finding out that you're from a different barrio, and you didn't claim it, we'll fucking straight up put you on blast. You know what I mean? And even your own barrio will fucking fuck you up, you know. So this vato, fucking creeping on this general hospital employee that just got off work, which is a nurse. Jojo said she was a firme gente, you know. She was fine, good looking, y toda la cosa, you know. So she matched his descriptions of the women that he used to fucking grab and kidnap and rape, and you know what I mean. So he tried fucking like throwing her in the car, and she fought him off. And then Jojo and some homeboys, I don't know, maybe, no, I don't know what homeboys in my memory, I don't remember, but he said that he used to have his fucking rampla and fucking used to patrol to gangbang, you know what I mean, to keep everybody trucha. But you keep an eye on the hyenas and everything, because we've always been you know, cruisers, you know. And at the same time, when we seen that, it captured his eyes, and he turned around, he made a U-turn, and he just swept up, you know, and it threw chingadazos, you know. But the vato, he was already alert, and he was prepared, you know what I mean. And he had a knife and everything. Jojo didn't have shit. So what happened, took off. We saved Jojo like a superhero, saved the woman, you know, and you know, told her, hey, you know what, get on the rampla, or you want me to walk you home, you know. He walked her home, you know. So there was a lot of stories, and people used to be like, he stalked people for like 6 months, and everywhere you go, everybody will like keep an eye on the stalker, because he's raping women right now, and he's killing them. Raping's one thing, but raping and killing them, it's crazy. He used to put all these like 666 on the forehead. He used to put like Nazi signs on them. He used to just like fucking cut them up and kill them, you know, and leave them naked, you know, in a certain way that it was a devil worshipping, you know what I mean. And people were fighting, but people from, you know, Boyle Heights, East LA, todo, they were alert. They say the story that he came from El Paso, Texas, and a lot of people say he was DEI and DEA, you know, CIA and all that. And little did they know that after the years, his father was a policeman. So on top of it, he was military and stuff like that. So he had, he knew the rules. He knew how to get away. He knew todo, you know, all the ins and outs and all that. How to be a fucking psycho murderess, and you know what I mean, a fucking killer, you know, rapist, fucking antichrist guy, and you know. So he tortured Boyle Heights for a while. Then he stopped. Then he came back, and some guy named Jose. He was from like Bickestown, was by Michigan. You know, he seen that he was trying to fucking pick up another hyena, you know, and he fucking caught his plates. But more or less, he knew who he was, and he knew todo, and he came up and he told all the homeboys there, like all the homeboys, all the barrios from all of Michigan, you know, all Cam and fucking Soru, everybody knew already to keep an eye on that puto auto, and they're gonna try to catch us slipping, and they couldn't catch him. They couldn't catch him, and like I say, he kept raping and torturing a lot of women in East LA and Bow Heights. Finally, the Juras, they went to the Juras and they threw the 911 at his ass, and they caught us slipping, and all the homeboys from all the neighborhoods, my Uncle Jojo, this is the way he describes it, that everybody got on the ramflas and everybody was gonna go fucking beat him up and fucking kill him, for all the fucking shit that he's put the neighborhoods through, our women, our mothers, our family members, He says that our cars kept just like piling up, and the community over there by Mickey, Michigan, and all that, they end up fucking by Brooklyn, Soto, everybody that knows all that area, over by MC4s, where fucking Civic Terrace, Rockwood, and all that. And I actually drive by there once in a while, it's our shopping grounds and all that. So they end up beating the shit out of him. And one of the cops was patrolling there at APD at their finest, to protect and serve the community. And he stopped him and he saved his life, If not, the community would have just like fucking done with him, And that's how we treat sex offenders and predators and fucking murderers and psycho motherfuckers. We don't bow down. We don't hide, and we're not afraid. We're tough motherfuckers, That's how my Uncle Jojo always his philosophy, his pensamiento, his wisdom, his knowledge, his upbringing, you know what I mean? His cultura, that's how we brought up. We're Chichimeca Aztecas. We come fucking as warriors, So we don't cower. We run to the problems. We're like the Marines, We never leave no one behind, and we protect and serve our community, even though we're gangsters and people could discriminate and talk shit. Yes, there's once in a while there's a cagapalo, a snapper, a clucker, y toda la cosa, but in this time the community and the homeboys and everybody was on the lookout, and they caught him slipping and they beat the shit out of him. And that's the story more or less of the Night Stalker. And Uncle Jojo, Berta, and Aide, and Güero, and everybody has a different description and different ways of describing those days, But it was actually a fucking a nice happy ending, That's what we call it. And I just want to tell everybody that those are the stuff that more or less I grew up on. Those are the stories. Those are the adventures that my familia and me and my parents we went through. And it's awesome, It's awesome to hear. We call them our veteranos, our familia, our ancestors, that they pass along the stories, Remember the day that Jojo was telling me, and back then we had Wino, we had a fucking Cobra, we had fucking Eddie the Animal, the Giant, we had which is Israel, we had that story. I remember Jojo telling me that story, and it was awesome. It was an awesome experience that we experienced, and that we get to tell. And there's a lot of footage, and there's history, and there's a lot of stuff that comes from those days, And my Uncle Jojo passed on already, and we love him, and we tell everybody his stories, his way he was, how he did stuff, and it was down. He was, it was to the core, but besides everything, we lived it, we lived it. And right here, here we're in East LA already, coming out the 10, and this is more or less where, if you turn around this side, This is right here, General Hospital. That's Marengo Street right here. And that's where our projects are a little over there on that side. But more or less, that's where they caught the hidings, the first, what do you call it, looks of them. I'll drive by there right now. And you get to learn where he stalked people, where he got to keep it in mind, and all this is new. And we used to, ¿cómo te voy a decir? This is Marengo, coming up on Marengo, and this is my Uncle Jojo and them caught the Night Stalker. Well, not caught the stalker, but they had their interactions and convenience with him. So if you look at over there is General Hospital. This is Marengo right here, and we did a lot of stuff, you know, right here. We have the hill, we have the hazard projects, a little forward from us, valleys on that side, and you know. So more or less, Jojo says that he was patrolling. He was patrolling all this area, and the woman. You got to keep this in mind that now there's a new General Hospital. The old General Hospital, they only use it for movie sets and historic shit. And that's where they made the program, la novela, the Night Stalkers. Well, Jojo said that actually on this street right here, he was drive-bying, you know, he was, you know, keeping an eye on, go get some cerveza before the market closed. And right here, there used to be like a Burger King and stuff right here. They knocked it down already. And he says it's around right here. This is the area that they had the interactions with the Night Stalker, and he was actually coming, and he was gonna hit the liquor store right there on Soto, right in the corner. This is well, you know, the tiendita, the marqueta, and well, we all have a lot of histories and stories, and almost losing our lives and everything. It used to be where the 7-Eleven's at. They knocked it down already, the liquor store. But more or less, this is the entrance to General Hospital. This is more or less where everybody used to come through, and still a path towards General Hospital. That's our building up there. It's awesome. That's where when I got stabbed, and that's the 18 building. That's where I got operated. Everybody that hears my stories, you're gonna more or less, ¿cómo te voy a decir? Imagine the General Hospital. At one point, it was the biggest hospital in the world, and they made the novela General Hospital. Me and Jojo always been, you know, storytellers, and so I miss my Uncle Jojo. Rest in peace, Jojo. And this is the entrance to General Hospital. Many times I've entered here, and this is where I came out. This is where I came out, and when I got stabbed. And it's fucking awesome to know that it's still our heritage, and still our cultura and everything. And everybody that knows the stories, more or less, this is the main entrance. It has a back entrance. When I got stabbed, I entered through over here on this side, and the emergency was through over here before. And but this is where the Night Stalker fucking will catch the women slipping y todo, you know. And there's another way. This is the exit. There's another way from the General Hospital, where employees and stuff used to get released and toda la cosa. Everybody that knows, this is fucking home. I was born on one of these parts, so this was the emergency. Everybody, where we used to come in, and the dogs and todo, but this is where I came in when I got stabbed. You know, this is where my jefecito brought me. So it's awesome that I get to live and tell these stories and keep the same shit that Jojo and everybody used to tell us, you know. So the Haina is the women's hospital. They already knocked it down, but we have all kinds of hospitals. This is the main structure, that general hospital. And over here, we used to always come. We call it the hill, the funk spot from General Hospital in Soto. They closed it down back in the days. There's a spot right here on the corner. On that side, there's an entrance, but this is where the Night Stalker told us they used to stalk people, and he used to catch people. He murdered 13 women, and they're all working at General Hospital, clerical, into the medical fields and stuff like that. And more or less, this is the streets where he patrolled and where we grew up, and we had to protect and serve our community. See back there, up there, that's where we used to hang out. We used to come and do our kickbacks. Let me see if it's open still. No, you gotta go into the other way. But more or less, this is the projects, the hill, you know. We've had a lot of interaction with all kinds of neighborhoods and, you know, the projects. So I'm gonna take you guys to more or less where the Night Stalker, more or less where they caught him, and it's fucking awesome. And well, right now we're on Soto Street. A lot of people catch the buses on both sides of the street y todo. But we're headed towards the bridge. And that's the bridge where he used to catch people getting off the bridge. And it's very famous. We just entered Seri Terrace. And everybody that knows Seri Terrace, you know. And to my right, it's called Vicky's Town. So more or less, this is the bridge coming up. My uncle Jojo got in it, got in multiple fights and everything. And they say that the Night Stalker used to patrol this area and used to catch people slipping right here. We're about to go deep, all right, in our heritage. And you gotta remember, and it gets dark here, a lot of shit happens here. It's nothing but hills, and where East LA and Boyle Heights meet up. And everybody knows these stories. This is where it happened, and people have multiple. So this is Evergreen territory now, and this is the bridge, you know. So we're gonna get off and see if no one snaps, and we come out of here con cultura, you know what I mean? So this is the bridge I was talking about. Rest in peace, my tío Jojo. Where vatos from this side of the neighborhood crossed up to fight the other side of the neighborhoods. And more or less, this is what you see out there. It's fucking awesome. This is our cultura, our ways of fucking crossing the freeway, the 10. It's fucking awesome. This is if I could turn back the time, this is where everybody fought. This is on top of the freeway. So many people probably used to be seeing the brawls and the chingadazos right here. And it's fucking awesome.
You get to see our neighborhood over there, the projects, and it's awesome. You could turn around and see General Hospital, and you can't imagine all the stories that everybody talks about, you know? We just gotta watch out right here, because it's still active, other neighborhoods. And so, more or less, this is the cemetery's part. We have our part from the projects. I'll take you guys down there later on. But you can see on the outskirts downtown. So the Night Stalker used to catch people slipping right here. And this is where Bow Heights and East LA, this bridge unites us. So that day, he must have gotten out through more or less the same streets that I'm going through, and he drove to try to get away through Marengo, which is the street right here, and he went through the side streets, more or less the side streets that I'm going through right now, and he got caught right just in front of us. That's where he lived at, and when he parked the Ramfla, and that's what they noticed him. And this is our cultura, you know. A lot of people don't have the privilege. A lot of people don't even remember the Night Stalker. They haven't heard stories about them y todo, you know. But more or less, this is how he got away. How he used to get away, mejor dicho. He used to fucking just patrol these streets at night. You gotta understand this, they're dark. These are gang banging zones and areas that are difficult for the police and for people. So if you're not from the barrio, you're not from right here, you get caught on a dead end streets, you get into a lot of shit. So more or less, this is his route home. And not exactly, but that night, this is more or less the route he took. He tried escaping y todo, and he's, you know, going like a loco, like a maniaco, you know what I mean? And just a little up ahead, this is where they caught him, you know? And but more or less, this is more or less the roads, and the road that he took the last day of his freedom. You know what I mean? And la gente just fucking roused up and guys, the community todo, you know? So more or less, this is how the side streets, this is how you get away from the juras, from the chopper, from toda la gente. You take a look, there's a lot of dead ends. There's a lot of dead ends. This is why it's hard for juras to arrest people and stuff like that, because we know all the dead ends. We get off and we just, you know, jump fences, and we go into homes that we know, and you know what I mean, there's alleys, and you know, so keep that in mind. You know, just don't think that we're all crazy, you know. We're just normal people that live and try to live and do the best outcome, you know. And these are the streets where Vicky's Town and all these neighborhoods, Hick Street, and you know, all the barrios and all the gente, all the culturas. So more or less, these are all the back roads. If you notice, there's a lot of hills, and you'll start seeing, back in the days, there's a lot of empty lots and stuff like that. You turn around up there, you go to another dead end, and that's where they catch you slipping. And if you're gangbanging and you're doing all kinds of shit, this is it. You know what I mean? These are the main streets that you fucking do, you know. But if you're trying to get away from the hot cops or the choppers and all that, this is more or less how you go, you know. And as soon as we pass the street, this is where they caught him. And you got to keep this in mind, that stories change, and this is more or less my concept, my story, my version that Jojo taught me. And I just want everybody to don't think that everything I say is with the exact words. You know, hay que ponerle crema a los tacos. Let's ¿cómo te voy a decir? Make it a little more interesting, you know? And hopefully no one gets offended and no one thinks that what you call it, this is exactly how it happened, you know? It's changes. So more or less we're heading to his calle where he got battered and beat up and chased by everybody. So you could imagine that night he's running like a crazy motherfucker through all this. He's walking. And he had left his car and he's up and down running, and you know, he thought he got away. When I suddenly this vato named Jose, he caught him, you know. He noticed them and told the homeboys. And he told them, hey, you know what, homeboy that you're looking for? Ya está el cabrón, you know. So just more or less I wanna show you las calles, you know, las meras, you know. And still people out here, and like I said, if you're looking back to me, there's another dead end, and we come to East LA already, you know. More or less on one of these streets right here. I'm gonna turn on this one coming up. Don't remember exactly which is la calle, la mera, but more or less it's East LA right here, and this is more or less where he got caught. It's fucking awesome. Still remembering and honoring my dear Jojo and his stories, and you know what I mean, todo lo que pasó, you know. Well, everybody, hopefully you guys get to enjoy and get to all these stories. This is where they made the movie La Familia and all that, and you know, and blood in, blood out. Back over here está el árbol, you know. It's like it's a different time, different step to todo, but it's nice to remember and appreciate that we lived it, we survived it, and we get to tell stories. Stories is awesome. Don't ever take for granted time, and this is more or less the path that people take. If you ever watch the movie Blood In, Blood Out, this is on the streets. I'll show you this is through the bottom. A lot of people that knows like Blood In, Blood Out. This is more or less. I'll take you guys to El Árbol right now. That is the most famous tree in East LA. And I'll take you guys to the other side. But this is more or less the streets where everybody, so if you've ever been in East LA, you're from East LA, and you believe in our heritage and our cultura, this is one of the most famous streets. And up away ahead is El Árbol. I don't know if you guys could see it, but a lot of people come. They believe on the dream, you know, the East LA dream. And but the Night Stalker's been here multiple times, you know. This is more or less where he grew up. Well, not grew up, where he lived and tortured and hunted people, you know. And that's the famous tree, everybody. It's awesome. It's awesome that it's still standing, and it's the only tallest tree in East LA. And it's un pino. It's a weird pino, pero That's our tree. That's the tree of life of East LA. This came out in a lot of movies and a lot of shit, you know. And people still sell like street vendors, and they do all kinds of stuff right here on the East LA, you know. And well, that concludes my my story, the Night Stalker and Jojo and East LA and all the shit that, you know, very famous. My parents got married right there on Evergreen and 1st Street or 3rd Street, and we roam around these streets. And I used to have the YMCA used to be here in the corner. Los Cinco Puntos are around the corner. La Placita Alvera, La Alameda, you know what I mean? The mariachis, and, you know, surrounded by nothing but cemeteries. And more or less, that concludes the story, everybody. Going back towards Soto, and we get to enjoy, I guess, our stories. And hopefully, if you still like the stories and you still enjoy the way I describe them and the way I put crema on los tacos and everything, you know what I mean? Just remember, everybody, these stories are told to me. I lived them. It was my time. This happened in 1984, but you know what I mean? I was young, and all my stories, I was about 8, 9 years old when it happened. And there's a lot of stories, there's a lot of things that that people describe, the fears and all the shit that used to happen. Like I said, 13 women got murdered, and who knows how many violated and raped and fucking girls by them, you know. And thank God that we got this devil worshiper, and he just died about a couple years ago, about 5-6 years ago. And it's crazy. It's crazy, everybody. Stuff that we live, and they're gonna make it to the top news. But I thank you guys por todo, and we're gonna conclude once we get to Soto. This is more or less the pharmacy, where Talking Taco, and where we grew up at. This is it's awesome. So this is a famous, you know, corner. Everybody always caught the bus. This is like a Pacific. This is a terminal before. Just gonna conclude. This is the most famous corner. Back then, teníamos novelas right here in the corner, and this is our downtown district. You know, we ate so many times right here at George's. The Pastrami's are the shit, and the Bank of America, and this is home sweet home. My uprising, my upbringing. This is me. My stopping grounds growing up. This is where we used to cruise, the boulevards and stuff like that. And now they changed it to Cesar Chavez, but back then it was Brooklyn. Brooklyn was given to us from New York, because when the Dodgers came, they brought the street the Brooklyn Dodgers. And I bought in airplane tickets right here on the side. When I used to go to Mexico, this is where I used to come and buy my tickets, you know. And we have Children's Hospital in front of us, and that concludes the story, everybody. Nothing special, but it's LA.